Imagine you are a mother in 1959. You are exhausted. You have terrible morning sickness. Your doctor, a man you trust completely, hands you a small white pill. He smiles reassuringly. This is perfectly safe, he tells you. Completely harmless, even for your baby. You take it. Weeks pass. Months pass. And then the day comes. Your baby is born. And in that single moment, your world ends. Because the pill your doctor promised was safe was anything but. What happened next was not just a tragedy, it was a crime, a cover-up, and the most devastating drug disaster in the entire history of medicine. This is the story of thalidomide, and it will change the way you look at every pill you will ever take for the rest of your life. To understand how thalidomide happened, you need to understand just how dangerously trusting the world was in the 1950s. Penicillin had just saved millions of lives. Medicine felt invincible. New wonder drugs were appearing every single year, and the public worshipped every one of them. The pharmaceutical industry was riding a wave of almost religious public trust, and drug regulation almost non-existent. In West Germany, where thalidomide was born, a Chemie Grunenthal company could bring a new drug to market with barely any testing at all. No long-term studies required, no proof of safety and pregnancy required, just a product, a price tag, and a sales team. Into this dangerously trusting world, a company called Chemie Grunenthal released thalidomide in 1957. They called it Contergan. Their marketing was bold, confident, shameless. They called it the safest sedative ever created. Safe enough, they insisted, for pregnant women and their unborn children. And the world believed them. Within just 2 years, thalidomide was everywhere, sold in 46 countries, under 37 different brand names, prescribed for morning sickness, anxiety, insomnia, nervousness. Pregnant women across Europe, Australia, Canada, and beyond, taking it daily, trustingly, because their doctors told them it was safe. But behind closed doors, something was very wrong. Reports were quietly emerging of patients developing peripheral neuropathy, painful nerve damage in the hands and feet after taking thalidomide. Doctors wrote letters, scientists raised concerns, internal warnings were filed. And Chemie Grunenthal, fully aware that their miracle drug was causing nerve damage, said nothing, did nothing, changed nothing. Because thalidomide was making them rich, and money, it turned out, was worth more than the truth. Then came the babies, and nothing in the history of medicine could have prepared the world for what happened next. Starting in 1959 and exploding through 1960 and 1961, doctors across Europe began reporting something that made their blood run cold. Babies being born without limbs, arms that ended at the shoulder, legs that never grew, tiny hands sprouting directly from the torso with no arms connecting them. A condition called phocomelia, virtually unheard of before thalidomide, was suddenly appearing in epidemic numbers. 10,000 babies worldwide were born with thalidomide-related deformities. Tens of thousands more were miscarried or stillborn. And Chemie Grunenthal, as the evidence mounted around them like a tidal wave, continued selling the drug, continued denying the connection, continued looking their customers and their devastated children in the eye and lying. But while Europe burned, one woman in Washington, D.C. was quietly saving America. Her name was Frances Kelsey, a Canadian-born doctor and pharmacologist working as a reviewer for the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. In 1960, the application to sell thalidomide in America landed on her desk, and something didn't feel right. The data was incomplete, the safety evidence was thin, the studies on pregnant women were almost non-existent. So, Frances Kelsey did something remarkable. She said, "Not yet." The pharmaceutical company, desperate to crack the American market, came at her hard. They called her difficult, unreasonable, an obstacle to progress. They contacted her superiors. They wrote angry letters. They applied pressure from every direction. And Frances Kelsey didn't move an inch. She kept asking questions, kept demanding data, kept refusing to approve a drug she wasn't convinced was safe. While 10,000 children were being born damaged across the world, only 17 cases of thalidomide-related birth defects were recorded in the United States. Because of one woman, one desk, one refusal to be rushed. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy personally awarded Frances Kelsey the highest civilian honor in America. She had saved thousands of children simply by doing her job with integrity. When the truth finally exploded into public view in late 1961, the reaction was seismic. Chemie Grunenthal pulled thalidomide from the market. Governments across the world scrambled to act, and the outrage, the genuine raw outrage of a world that had trusted medicine and been betrayed, changed everything. In America, the Kefauver-Harris Amendment of 1962 completely transformed the FDA. For the first time, pharmaceutical companies were required to prove not just that their drugs were safe, but that they actually worked. Rigorous clinical trials, phase testing, independent review, long-term surveillance. Every protection that stands between you and a dangerous drug today was built on the wreckage of thalidomide. The thalidomide story is not ancient history. It is a warning that lives in every medicine cabinet in the world. A reminder that profit and safety are not always on the same side, that trust without scrutiny can be weaponized, and that sometimes the most important person in the room is the one quiet enough to say, "Not yet." Frances Kelsey died in 2015. She was 101 years old. Every safe medicine on every pharmacy shelf in the world today carries a piece of her legacy. This video is educational only. Always consult a licensed healthcare professional.